Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Abundant Wednesday. I'm Shelley Hagan. I'm here with my business partner, Nina McNamara, and we have a guest with us today, Kurt Warner. Kurt is a real estate investor that we have known for a long time, over 10 years, and Kurt has specialized in buying some multi-unit properties, so we invited him to come talk about his experience as a real estate investor getting into buying his first properties. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nina.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you so much, Kurt, for being here today. Not beering here, but being here. It's Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. It's too early for beer.
Yeah.
I think we've had a few drinks together over the years, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Kurt, that's what we were just chatting about, how we've known each other for a long time, but we still feel young. So it's like, how can we have known each other this long? But here we are. So
Yes.
Kurt, like everyone else, we have a reason for investing in real estate and what has made us take this road. Can you please explain and share with us your reasoning for being on this joyous and fun adventure?
Well, I think it all for me started back probably, Shelley, when we were just discussing before we started when we met, and was working for a company that taught people how to invest in real estate and also financial markets. And I remember the first deal that I did with a couple of business partners in 2007 with incorrect knowledge at the time, and being young and thinking I knew everything did not go so well. It was a power sale deal that we did in Vaughan. Bought it well, but didn't really have a sound exit strategy, and we weren't working with a mentor. So that was kind of my first foray into investing. But even going back before that, when I grew up as a teenager, my mom always had like our personal home and had like a rental property. So like a single family home or a townhouse. So when I went to university, she actually moved to St. Croix to kind of not retire early, but to get away from all the weather. And so I was left to manage those properties while she was gone. So it was kind of like feet in the fire, learn how to deal with problem tenants, had some great tenants, had some not so great tenants. But yeah, that's kind of how I got my start initially into real estate. And then after that deal in 2007, didn't work out as intended. We ended up actually losing money on that deal. I kind of, probably like a lot of new investors, got a little bit shy of real estate. I knew it worked and I've seen it work for a lot of other people, but for myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to choose a different path. So I started actually trading in financial markets, so with stocks, options, and Forex. This was back in 2009, so just after the financial crash of 2008. Great timing. So did well, but always had this urge to get back to real estate. So in basically the summer of 2018, I got together with my now current business partners, and we formed our investment company, JFK Properties Canada, late 2018, and actually invested in our first multifamily property in April 2019, which was a sixplex. So that's how kind of got back into real estate, and we've kind of grown from there.
Nice. Yeah. And I think we all are that initial investor where we're gaga. We just got to do that deal, right? And we always don't do that due diligence, or we have that, education to back it up. But what I like about Kurt is that you just kept going. You know what? You did some education, you did some learning, and then you've moved on to, making yourself successful in real estate investing. So having learned that, and over the years, I know you've taken some education, what have you learned that's really important for building your investment portfolio?
I think there's a few things I've learned. One, definitely education. So when we made that decision in 2018 to start investing as a group, one of the key parts was we needed to actually get formal education. And I think we were definitely in class with you, Nina. I remember that, which is awesome. And Shelley, I don't know if we actually got to actually attend a live class with you back then, but I know we did watch videos of it. But definitely getting education and knowledge from people that know more than you and are where you want to be a few years out is critical. Also working with people that are coaches and mentors is very helpful. People that you can bounce ideas off of is critical, and also to remove your ego. As I said, the first deal in 2007, the reason why it didn't work was everybody involved in that deal had an ego, and it was, we know what we're doing, we don't need any help, we'll just, figure it out as we go. But the reality is, when you get into real estate, take your ego aside, pretend you know nothing about every deal that you approach, and ask questions. Ask questions of mentors, coaches, trainers, other investors, your power team, so you can continually learn and grow.
Exactly. And
Very good point.
yeah, we've all had that little ego. I know when I first started investing, I'm like, I don't need anybody. I can do this on my own. And all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, I have no idea what I'm doing and I need other people's money. And then you're like, what? So yeah, that is very critical to let that ego aside and say, okay, you know what? Network, help me, right? And people,
Absolutely.
that mentorship, that other people in your network and stuff like that. So what do you think is the most important thing that you're doing for your business right now to make it grow?
Right now, we're actually at an interesting point in our business where I think for the first little bit, and we invested through kind of COVID, which slowed us down a little bit. I think a lot of probably new investors, maybe even some experienced investors, kind of took a pause when COVID first hit, back in 2020. And then we kind of started again late in 2020. But right now, we're actually trying to transition our business from something that has been a very good hobby into an actual business. So looking at things like marketing or social media, we started our own podcast recently. Looking at finally bringing on a bookkeeper, because one of my business partners has been doing that. And he's like, I'm tired of doing it. I'm like, let's hire out. Also starting to get into raising more capital outside of just friends and family. So really formalizing the process to help us grow this year and then beyond.
Excellent. Yeah, one thing I'm learning to do, and I'm glad you said something about the bookkeeping, is take some of those menial tasks off your plate so you can concentrate on doing the more bigger things that actually make you money. Like I myself was a bookkeeper, and I am the worst bookkeeper now because I'd rather be doing deals than sitting there writing in all the numbers. So, as investors, we try to take it all on, right? So that's really critical. Use your power team to use them to do things for you. And that includes your bookkeeping, have your realtors do things for you. All those things about the analyzing deals and everything just makes it all come through if you have your power team with you. So
Yes.
Great on. Excellent.
And whereabouts are you investing, Kurt?
So our first deal actually was in Sudbury, and I remember when we did research really Ontario and then out east, and looking at different markets, and Sudbury kind of popped up as a place where prices were still reasonable and rents were high compared to what you would pay for like a triplex, fourplex, sixplex, etc. So that's why we chose there. And actually several funny stories about our first couple trips up to Sudbury that we kind of talked about on our podcast. So they're out there for anybody that wants to listen. But we chose Sudbury just because of cash flow. It just made sense for us. None of us had been up there before, so it wasn't like it was a market we were familiar with. And then we also expanded into Timmins, which we've never been to, but like you guys have mentioned, building a power team, doing it as a business, trusting your power team after you've gotten to know them. So based on their recommendation, our research, then we went out to Timmins, and right now we're working on the initial stages of a deal out east. So that will be our first venture out east.
Okay, so out east meaning the Maritime provinces? Do you look at
Yeah,
New Brunswick or someplace? Or?
Nova Scotia for the first one is what we're looking at right now.
Okay, great. Well, that's very good. So you've invested in a couple of markets, not always just right close to where you live either, right? So, and I've done that as well. And Nina has too. I mean, you used to own properties in Edmonton, lived in another city. So, I mean, it does take a little bit extra work, and you definitely have to believe in your power team and follow up on them for sure. So good for you. And I know you have a lot of new things that are coming up. And we're going to invite Kurt back again for another interview to talk about kind of what's his next step, because he's got some fun business that he's going on. He's talking about the podcast. We'll talk a little bit further about that next time. But we really appreciate you coming and talking to us about your investing that you've been doing so far. And it's good for, new investors to kind of get an idea of what other investors have done and just kind of touch base. And we'll make sure to put all your contact information into the interview as well. So if anyone wants to reach out to you and find out more, then we can do that. And we can put your podcast in there as well, so people can, check it out, see what your funny stories are about Sudbury.
Awesome. That would be great. Hopefully they're entertaining and educational.
Yes,
Excellent.
I'm sure they will be.
One thing I do want to add to what Kurt said, and I'm sure Shelley's going to agree with me, that it's great that you're stepping outside, and we're all stepping outside our comfort zone as investors, but you're also stepping outside your local market, which a lot of us have to get past. And it's all about building that power team. And I think, you going from, like you said, Timmins, I've never been there, but I'm investing because the numbers work, and you have the power team. And now you're going to Nova Scotia, which is a great excuse to go visit Nova Scotia. But again, we have to think beyond our little box, and that also includes our investing. So I think that's fabulous that you guys are reaching outside your little comfort zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because especially where you live in the Toronto area, the GTA area, the price points are really expensive. It's hard for a new investor to get involved in the business there. So you need to go to the tertiary markets outside of the GTA to find those deals, right?
No, absolutely. And even with Sudbury, like as I mentioned, when we told like friends, family, even our lawyers, like, why are you investing in Sudbury? Back in 2019, Sudbury is now a really hot market where prices have skyrocketed, especially in the past, I'd say 6 months to a year. So we've been able to take advantage of that and, sell a couple properties, acquire some off-market deals as well, still in that market. But it's kind of forced us to now step outside and look for, okay, go to Timmins and then look at East where we can still pick up some nice cash flowing properties. I'd say people that are in, primary markets within Canada, whether it's, Toronto or Montreal or Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, is not to be scared to step outside your market. I've told people, and I've shared the story on our podcast with others, that, I've only seen one property that we've invested in, and we've done, several. It goes back to having a strong power team, and, technology allows for it to happen. And especially during COVID, I think you had to get comfortable stepping outside the box and kind of relying on others when we physically couldn't, go in and view a property at that point in time. So it's definitely helped our business kind of grow and expand, and happy to talk about some other exciting things that we have coming up on the next time I'm on with you guys.
Well, we look forward to the next interview. We'll do that and have you back again here in the very near future. And so I thank you so much for your time. It's so good to see you, Kurt, as always. Can't wait till we get together again in person at some point in time here, hopefully in the near future.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks, Kurt. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, everybody, we'll be back again. There's more to come. So have an abundant week, and we'll happy investing. Bye for now.